What's up, friends of the good mood? This is Manni, and welcome to the current test server weekend for War Robots, guys, with the new updated Corrosion weapons, Sting and VIPER, okay? So, you can already see right here the VIPER has got new visuals and new sound effects when it fires, and I would assume the same thing is going to come also for the Sting, which currently still sounds and looks like Punisher, but I think in the future it will have a different look and different sound. And in this video in particular, I want to see how the Sting and VIPER has changed compared to last week, okay? Because you remember probably in my last week's videos, I said that the Sting seemed almost worthless, which did very next to nothing to the enemy, while the VIPER was performing incredibly good as a heavy version. Now in this one we're gonna figure out how they change. Is the Sting now going to be much better than it was last time, and will the VIPER will be stronger or weaker than last time? So we're gonna figure this out. Once I die right here, we're jumping right into the Pursuer. This is montaged gameplay right here, so only the the more important and juiciest parts cut together for you, so we can figure out together how the new weapons are performing now on the current test server. So I think I'm going to die in like the next 10 seconds, and then we're jumping into the Pursuer, which has 3 Sting weapons on it, okay? So with this, we should be really good at figuring out how well the weapon does. So let's do it right here, ladies and gents. Alright, there we go. Pursuer time with the Sting. And you will still see that the firing mechanic is pretty weird. It fires for 1 second and it reloads for 1 second. And that's what you do the whole time. We are the only one currently dealing damage to this Pursuer right there. And if I had the gust, then I would have already killed him 10 times over. And you can still see the gust is like, I don't know how many times stronger than the Sting currently is. And we're even with the corrosion damage that, by the way, adds up on top, as a lot of times. And it adds and adds and adds. And the more you do, the more damage you will start to do on the enemy with the corrosion on top of the actual hitting. But you see here, the damage output's incredibly low still, and even though we're dealing, in theory, we're hitting every single bullet very accurately right there, we should be dealing massive damage. Comparing that to Gust, there is no comparison at all. The Gust would have killed the target 5 times quicker, and I would have stopped taking damage from the enemy because the enemy is dead, So it's just incredibly much better to use the Gust on the Pursuer right now than the Sting, and I don't think we have seen the last of the Sting yet. We're still here alive, by the way. It's a wonder that we're still alive. We've already been running through the enemies twice over, and we are still left alive with so much health. Let's go and pick out the Fury right there. It's a big, juicy target with a lot of health that we can just take down, but we're not the only one firing at it. We had some support from the Bulgazari. That's why he went down so quick. We see a jumping Mercury coming in, so I want to get away from it, not to get caught in the explosion. Meanwhile, running away, reloading my stealth ability, and dealing damage as much as I can. Even trying to capture this beacon here from the side, and I took it away from them, so they won't be able to spawn here anymore. And we're still alive, by the way. It's crazy. We're wiggling down through this enemy death trap and line of minefield of enemies right here, attacking these guys from all over the place, and I even still have my stealth ability left. Now, considering how much we're doing right now, we should be ending up with massive amounts of damage output, right? Well, at the end of this match, I'm only using the light weapons in this particular match, so in the end we have a statistics screen showing us how much damage we have done altogether with only the light Sting weapon, pretty much. Okay, in the beginning we were running the Strider with a few hits from the VIPER, but I guess 90% of what we're gonna see at the end of the statistics is just the Sting on the Pursuer, because we're still alive! We're still alive with the Pursuer. Isn't that ridiculous? We still somehow managed to survive and walk through all that minefield of enemies still being alive, but now it's gonna be crazy. There's too much enemies coming in. So, let's jump into the last robot right here with a Sting, the Patton with 4 times the Sting on it, and let's go and fight off this Mender right there, guys. You can see here he's taking it, and he's taking me on, I'm taking him on. He has his resistance mode active right now, and he's firing back, but his resistance drops now. And you see, he's taking a relatively decent amount of damage, considering we have, pumped him full with corrosion for so long. But, like I said, once again, even at that distance, I believe that the Gust would have done better. So, let's have a look at the end screen, because this is officially the last guy we're going to take out right here in this match, and the end screen will now show us how much damage our light Sting weapon has done all together in this match, okay? So, victory, and it was 1.3 million damage. It's not bad, but I think that other weapons like Gust would have severely outperformed this, okay? Now, here's a little tip. We're about to fight the same enemy. The enemy over there is also a Fury with the VIPER. We know that the VIPER has 500 meters range, and it has a projectile that travels. It's fast, but it still travels, so if we are at 505 meters distance and walk away from him, he will walk into our shots while we are staying out of his line of sight. That's what I was trying to do here. You see here, we're walking away from him, and that's how I hit him with all my bullets, while his bullets haven't hit me yet. Only now at the end for a second they hit me, and I was able to destroy the whole Fury with taking minimal damage, even though this was the exact same robot that I was using too, simply because I let him walk into this range trap where my bullets hit him and he is out of range of his own bullets right there. So this is just 3 times VIPER now on the Fury. Obviously, this is a heavy weapon, and it should always inflict heavy damage. I am pro heavy weapons, okay? In general, I like to do a lot of damage with heavy weapons because that's how they should be, okay? What I wonder, though, if it's justified that you can kill pretty much a full Fury in like 3 seconds of firing with focus fire, and then you walk around the corner and the guy is still going to die because of the corrosion. That's the question I want to throw in here as just a thing to think about, okay? Let's jump into the next sequence. I told you this was going to be a crazy montage with just the juiciest and best moments for you guys here. I knew this Hize was going to try and come towards me, so I walk around the corner and look at the damage he's taking. Look at this. You see this damage? That's all corrosion. Boom. There he goes. That was all just corrosion from... Let's go back. We were only having him line up. Let's count the seconds I was firing at him, okay? So, I know he's going to come, so... 1, 2, 3, 3.5 seconds of firing and I'm behind cover, and look him fully dying because of the corrosion. That is the thing that I want to throw in to think about. Is that really supposed to be that way? Is cover not supposed to help you out, not get killed? In this case, the cover killed him completely and he was unable to fire back at me. You see, we're firing here with the Fury over these buildings here on Power Plant, which in my opinion, Power Plant is probably the best map you can run the Fury on, because you have also on this side and on the other side you have buildings or things that you can fire over while the enemy can't hit you, right? And that's what makes the Fury so incredibly deadly here. If this was a clan war and people wouldn't just be running Spectres and stuff, the Fury would really be, you know, doing a great job right here on this map. No matter where you are. Look where, by the way, I also tested this. It seems like the corrosion damage completely ignores the damage resistance on the Falcon. Even though the Falcon has full health and does not drop his resistance and is only in one weapon mode pretty much, even then, the corrosion damage will start dealing the full damage. I don't think there is a resistance helping him against the corrosion damage. And that's quite interesting. Because the Falcon is a bot, in my opinion, that is becoming a bit too powerful with the resistance currently on the live server with 614,000 health. If you haven't seen the video yet, boop, up there in the upper right corner is the link for you guys to check it out. It's 614,000 health, Mark II max with all the boosters, the Falcon, and that becomes an absolute death machine. Now on this, on the test server right here, you can now deal with the Falcon pretty well, because of the fact that you can just kind of ignore his resistance, but only with this weapon. So that would mean that in order to counter the Falcon, you need this weapon now, or these brand new weapons, and that's a mechanic I'm not very happy with. I pretty much think every weapon should be able to deal with it, and not only if it drops the resistance, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's we're gonna get killed now, no chance here, because there's a full pursuer coming in with shotgun weapons, and he's behind us. And yeah, that's it. He's also focusing us out of everybody else. But we have done more than 2 million damage with this round, okay? So that's crazy. Also, by the way, the Bulwark has an Aegis shield. And even though the Aegis shield blocks the physical projectile from hitting the robot, somehow the Bulwark still takes the full corrosion damage, which unfolds multiple times and is becoming more strong than the actual weapon hitting itself, you know? And that is, I think, and I hope that is just a bug. I can't confirm this yet, but I think this is a bug, and I believe that if this weapon comes to the live server, that that the Aegis shield would probably be supposed to block also the corrosion for as long as the shield is up. Otherwise, the shielding wouldn't make any sense, right? It says specifically it blocks all types of damage, and now suddenly there's something coming through. I don't think that's supposed to happen. I believe there's still, because it's in the early stages of development with these new types of weapons, okay? So, and that's why I believe the weapon somehow corrosion effect gets through the Aegis shield. Would be cool to get this confirmed, and if I do get this confirmed, I'll let you know, guys, immediately. But I believe that it's just a bug right now. So we're about to jump into a round where I want to show you specifically why I think the VIPER is so incredibly powerful. We're about to jump into a match where we kill a full bulwark at the range, and it seems like the weapon fires incredibly accurate, right? It's like a minigun, but it hits with next to every shot. That's what it seems like to me, right? And maybe they need to increase the spread of the VIPER, right? Maybe that would already help make the weapon, you know, fit better into the game. When it comes to balancing, if the weapon had a better, you know, a wider spread. Right now, even at long range, it seems like every projectile perfectly hits the enemy, or almost, and that probably makes the thing so strong. I was so lucky that this guy was locked down so that he would not be able to walk around the corner, attack me, and get stealth on me. In this case, I was able to walk around the corner here and now shoot over this cover with the Natasha, and he is just taking the full corrosion hits, and he can't get to me. His jump was already used, or his stealth, and I was able to get him snacked because of the help of my friends. So I think now we're jumping on to Dreadnought. This is the moment I want to talk to you guys about. Look at this. This is a full bulwark, okay? He could bring up his Aegis shield. Now he does it even, but it doesn't actually make a difference whether or not he brings up the Aegis shield. We're fighting at 500 meters range, and I killed a full bulwark with this. The bulwark is supposed to be the biggest fortress you can encounter, and especially on long range, you're supposed to really have a problem getting through a bulwark, right? And I think that that's why I say I believe the shield is supposed to block the corrosion damage, and that's why I also say that I think the spread on the VIPER currently is too precise. There's too little spread on the weapon. I think it should be spreading a little bit more, missing some shots at long range, you know. And I think that would probably already do it here. And this hover wants to die, but look how much damage he's doing to me with his storm and gust before I get him killed. Dang it. And that's the thing, if you kill something like that, then you have wasted probably like a million damage in corrosion or something. The amount of damage I pumped into him right there with corrosion, he would have now lost a full hover again after that, just on the corrosion. But he was destroyed, so the corrosion was kind of wasted on him. And that's once again a weakness on the weapon, right? While an Avenger, which is simply snack the target and kill it very quickly, the VIPER needs to deal the damage over the time. It needs to collect the corrosion and collect more and more of it before the hit points really take the big chunks, you know? And that's when the weakness kicks in of the VIPER. So it's a weapon with weakness as well, and an interesting one on top of that. But yeah, so I like to still hear what you guys are thinking about the whole VIPER and Sting concept. And the concept about corrosion itself, let me know in the comments what you think about this, and then the weapons in particular. In my opinion, still the Sting seems very, very weak. When I think maybe in the future an update on the visual, firing mechanic, and sound comes, maybe they ramp it up a little bit more, but hopefully not too far, because I think it should still require the actual corrosion to deal damage and not become too powerful immediately. So this Strider, look how much damage he's taking. Bam, that's just, all that was pretty much then corrosion. At first I was not dealing much damage, but then the corrosion starts gathering up, kicking in, and it deals insane amounts of damage. Now here we have a Fury with corrosion against a Fury with corrosion. We both are taking heavy damage from the corrosion. Look at this. And I still have half my magazine in there, so I'm gathering some corrosion and putting corrosion onto this Wayland that is sitting there healing. And look at the chunks that he's, you know, losing. Like boom, 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 boom. It takes like 15 or 10% damage per second or so, or even faster. And this is crazy. This is really insane, the amount of damage you can do with this. We're still here with 36,000 health. Something I figured out is that I very rarely lost my weapons on the Fury. It's crazy. I think I never actually lost my VIPER weapon on the Fury. Even when I was left with only 1,000 HP, I still had all 3 weapons. Something maybe they are trying and figuring out on the live server, on the test server right now, or maybe it was just a coincidence. Like, it could be, right? I just pumped up this Komiho there with a lot of Corrosion, so he's losing half his HP based on simply Corrosion around the corner. And but I'm almost dead now. And we just saw a weapon losing. Okay, so we actually do lose the Viper weapon. It just doesn't happen very often. And yeah, so the last sequence, guys, you know what I want to know from you guys, and that was the test server video for this weekend, summarizing the news on the new Corrosion weapons. Look at how much damage this Fury's taken just from that, man. This is so crazy. Ah, that's so insane. Although I think I prefer still firing the Avenger, because the Avenger, in my opinion, is the cooler weapon with the projectiles. But the Corrosion thing, the Viper is really coming forth, and if it comes to the live server the way we see it right here, I think it would probably outperform the Avenger because of the fact that you can hit the enemy quietly without giving him much of a notice. Like, he's taking minor damage. He doesn't even know he's really being hit right now. So he's just staying there, and 3 seconds later he has gathered so much Corrosion damage that he's pretty much going to die no matter what he's going to do from this point on, right? And yeah, so like I said, check out that video up there in the upper right corner with the Falcon and 614,000 health, Mark II level 12 max and all boosters. And I'm gonna say thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment down below. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, as brutal as a man can hit, for more. Thanks for bearing with me. You guys are awesome. As always, Manni-Gaming signing off. Bye-bye.